Hello everyone, Bob Believers around the world. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Hebrew nations, and we're just going to be going over the family tree of all the different Hebrew nations, and we're going to be exposing something crazy that makes absolutely no sense, once again, with One West Camp doctrine. Now, one thing that the One West Camps do not elaborate on is the fact that not everybody who's a Hebrew is an Israelite, and you don't have to be an Israelite to be a Hebrew, because the Israelites are Hebrew Israelites. But there's multiple nations that came out of Eber. Jacob was just one of them. And we're going to break down something crazy here, like I mentioned in the intro. So when we go down from Eber, we can see that there are 5 nations that descend from Eber. There are 5 Hebrew nations: the Ishmaelites, the Edomites, the Israelites, the Moabites, and the Ammonites. Now, according to One West Camp doctrine, the Ammonites are the Japanese, the Chinese are the Moabites, the Edomites are white people, and Ishmaelites is basically every so-called Middle Easterner. Now, when you put their camp doctrine into context, you realize that they're saying that the entire earth is Hebrew, and that everybody on this earth, minus Ham, is related. I want you to let that sink in. One West Camp doctrine teaches that everybody pretty much is a Hebrew. Now, their chart that they use, called the Nations chart, is false, just like the 12 tribes chart. I've done a lot of talking about the 12 tribes chart. I'll make a video about that sometime in the future. But the thing that's messed up about all this is the fact that they are so hell-bent on making every so-called race of people today descend from one of the land of Canaan nations, specifically one of the Hebrew nations. In their doctrine, everybody's a Hebrew. In the book of Genesis, Genesis chapter 10, there are 70 nations listed, be it according to IUIC and all the other GMS and all the other One West camps. Everybody on earth descends from one of these 5. And the interesting thing is, I've brought it out on this channel before, all of these 5, there's no such thing as white or Chinese Hebrews. All of these nations right here, I've brought forth ancient depictions and evidence and writings and documentation that every single one of these nations was Negro. So the whole idea that the whole earth is Hebrew is something that they don't really bring up, because they like to distance the fact that Moab and Ammon are Hebrews who are descendants of Lot, who was a Hebrew who came out of Eber. And they like to not mention Esau as being a Hebrew, because for one thing, a lot of the prophecies that they link to Esau don't work when you realize he's a Hebrew. For example, in the book of Maccabees, it says that the heathen would rewrite our portraits to look like them. But Esau's not a heathen, he's a Hebrew. And we know the white man was the one who, repainted Christ and all the apostles. So when you follow the scriptures correctly, that doesn't work. And then there's also the Ishmael problem, where in Hebrew, all Arab is mixed. In Hebrew, Arab means mixed. Not every person who lives in the so-called Middle East is Ishmael. A lot of those people are Turks, Japhet types, who migrated in and replaced the original people. So everybody in the Middle East is not Ishmael. So that is a false doctrine as well.